But hey, this time it might look a little bit difficult because our next opponent is Senegal. Now, yesterday night, late, the game started about past 10, and for those who stood up to Nigeria won against Cameroon 83-47. That was not just our girls, but making those bold statements now in the semi of this year's AfroBasket for women. But earlier, it was the other quarterfinal games that went down where the hosts, the Ivory Coast, thought they were cruising against their lead because the Senegalese came back stronger and better in the third and the fourth quarter, and they got the job done. So Ivory Coast, the host, lost to Senegal 66-60. That was very close between those two. Mali defeated Mozambique 86-68. And it was Uganda who lost to South Sudan with just a point, 69-68. Goals have landed in Zanzibar in the last few days. That's you got. They played 2 friendly games. The other one was played yesterday against Zanzibar. That game ended 2-2. I was there reporting during Scoreboard. We loaded that Nigeria was leading at halftime by 2-0, but Zanzibar came back to level score, and that ended 2-2. So now attention will be focused on CHAN that starts this weekend. When we come in the afternoon, we'll talk more about the CHAN tournament starting this weekend in Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. So the 3 East African countries will be hosting the CHAN this year. All right, so we still got more to talk about, but let's quickly go to London and get their beats, and we'll come back. London will help us with a few of the Premier League headlines that we need to know. The friendly games yesterday in Hong Kong between two sides based in North London, Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. I'll talk about that when we come. The BBC also will share part of that, and when we come also, I will also add my voice to that. This weekend, the Hungarian Grand Prix will be happening from today, practice session, Saturday, and then Sunday when we'll have the main race go down. So it's the first in the month of August, and so the Hungarians will be giving us some good Formula One this weekend. I'll also tell you something about Max Verstappen when we come back from London. So Shabna Yunus, Joe is in London. She will help us with the Premier League update. All we need to know concerning a few transfers, a few games, and then we'll come back. The Portuguese League started yesterday, but it began with the Super Cup between Sporting Lisbon and Benfica. I'll share that with you when we come back from London.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Shabnam Yunus at the BBC Sports Centre. West Ham midfielder Lucas Paquetá has been cleared of spot-fixing charges by an independent regulatory commission almost 2 years after the Football Association launched an investigation. He was accused of getting booked deliberately for the improper purpose of affecting the betting market. The Brazil international was facing the prospect of a lifetime ban if he was found guilty, but 4 allegations for getting deliberately booked were not proven. 2 more of failing to cooperate with the investigation were upheld. Paquetá denied all charges. He was linked with a move to Manchester City before the investigation, and his lawyer Alistair Campbell says it's been a very difficult time for him.
I have such sympathy for him. Imagine being told and the next day being told it could all be taken away. He's done incredibly well over the last couple of years to continue playing to the standard that he has.
Tottenham Hotspur beat Arsenal 1-0 in the first North London derby outside of the UK thanks to Pape Matar Sarr's excellent long-range chip. The match was played in Hong Kong in front of a stadium record crowd of almost 50,000, and Spurs boss Thomas Frank says it was pretty competitive.
It was not a friendly. You saw it was competitive. If you played in, it was very competitive. Some of the bits we've been working hard on is the combination of the defensive organisation, so high pressure, middle and low, so there's clear principles, but also that desire to keep a clean sheet.
And the former Arsenal and Chelsea striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has rejoined Marseille a year after leaving the French club. He joined Saudi Pro League side Al-Qadsiya from Marseille last summer, but left them earlier this month on a free transfer. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, so there you have it. Good news for Lucas Paquetá. I mentioned that yesterday afternoon. So his mind is clear. He's free now to go ahead and play the game well. He didn't have a best of season last time because it wasn't focused. And you must understand that psychological part of it keep affecting him. But now the head coach, Graham Potter, will hope he can get the best out of the former Olympic Lyon man. And he can take the Hammers to where they used to. Don't forget, they won the UEFA Conference League with David Moyes in charge. and we'll wait to see what Graham Potter will do with that news about Lucas Paqueta. Say, you know what, man, you're free to go. All right, so one man also says he's not going anywhere. We'll talk Formula One now. Four-time Formula One champion Max Verstappen has ended speculation about a move to Mercedes next season by confirming for the first time on Thursday that he would race on with Red Bull. In his word, he says, I think it is time to stop all the rumors. For me, it was always quite clear that I was staying. All right, Max Verstappen has confirmed he will remain with Red Bull for 2026 Formula One season, putting an end to uncertainty over his future. And so he's going to race and race. We'll wait to see what he will do this weekend. Formula One starts a new engine era in a major shakeup that could change the pecking order, with Mercedes expected to lead the way while Red Bull are making their own power units after a split with Honda. So, all of this is just a build-up to the Formula One race starting today in Hungary. Okay, so more to talk about on the show. Let's talk about the friendly game yesterday and then bring you more headlines. So yesterday, friendly games were played. Barcelona won their game against Seoul, the team from South Korea, by 7-3. Keep winning those games, Barca. And we'll wait to see what La Liga will look like in the coming days. The month of August is here, and August is when football will be back, starting with some of those curtain raiser. I'm talking about one curtain raiser. It was Benfica who won last night against Sporting Lisbon in the Portuguese Super Cup. Benfica defeated Sporting by a goal to nil. Don't forget, Benfica were also involved in the Club World Cup in the last few weeks. Sporting would never, and so Benfica, not having enough time to rest, began on a good note. So kudos to Bruno Lagarde, who helped his team to get the first one over Sporting Lisbon, who were Portuguese champion last season. So, like I said, August is upon us, and then football will be back. Not just football, also players also will be moving from one end to another end. For Arsenal Football Club, they say they are not done yet. They want to push more and sign more. 𝐒𝐕𝐄 is that name on everyone's lips in terms of the Arsenal Football Club. Spurs on their lips, maybe not on their lips, maybe they've got this one over the line, because last night around 11, the news came in that Spurs are on the verge of signing Joao Poliha. He will be on loan from Bayern Munich to Spurs. Don't forget, it was formerly with Fulham before he jumped from Fulham to the Bavarians. So he's coming back to the Premier League, he's coming back to London, but this time he's headed to North London to play for Spurs for his season with an option to buy. Not a must. Let's take a listen to now. Mikel Arteta, after his team lost yesterday to Spurs by a goal to nil in Hong Kong, and you heard from Shabna Yunus there saying the record attendance for that game was massive. The first time we're having a North London game away from London, and that was in Hong Kong, and Spurs prevailed over Arsenal by a goal to nil. Take a listen to Mikel Arteta after the game yesterday, speaking about the introduction of Mosquera and Victor Gyökeres. They made their debut yesterday for Arsenal Football Club against Spurs. Mikel.
Debuts of Gyökeres and Mosquera.
Well, really happy, obviously, to have them here. I think, they're gonna add a lot of value. You see straight away, as well, the energy and the quality that they're gonna bring. It was a short one, but at least